James, it's James, the Wine Guy, my weekly vlog, and today I'm going to talk about being a precisionist, so stay tuned. So the title of this video is Precisionist versus a Perfectionist. Now, I used to think and say to myself that I was a perfectionist, and I got to thinking about this term because I asked a friend recently, and he gave me some traits of the things he does and how he does things. And I thought, I said to him immediately, I said, "Oh, are you a perfectionist? It sounds like you are a perfectionist," better said. And so for me, listening to him, he says, "No, I'm not." And as soon as he said that, I said, "Oh, I know what you are. You're a precisionist." And so really important to think about this because I thought about myself in this context, and I thought of myself simply because, wait a minute, I've been calling myself a perfectionist for so long, or at least a recovering perfectionist. And I think perfectionism is something I really despise. And so I really got back to thinking there are some traits that are very similar, and I think those traits are such that precision is really important how I do things, but it's not to the point of perfection, because I think a lot of perfectionists have an unrealistic view of the world. They have an unrealistic view of how things get done, and more so their realistic state of what perfection looks like, because once you get there, would you know what it looked like? And I think the answer is simply no. And so perfectionists also waste a lot of time getting things done, or at least getting things done so perfect that I don't know why people get to that state. It could be development, who knows what it really is. So I'm not going to go down and criticize that particular trait too much. And for me, precision is really important. So, I talk about these subject matters because while somewhat related to wine, it's not always related to wine, but I think it's really good to get that color and background of who I am. And so that's why the purpose of these videos came out. Now, I think ultimately, I remember when I was a wine marketing manager and really working with the copywriters and also the proofreaders and of print and electronic media, it was always a battle to talk through things such as, you forgot an accent mark, a diacritical. And, oh, well, then we won't use them at all, was the response from the other people. And it was this very, very, reactionary way of doing things, unfortunately. And so battle this week over week over week, which was a lot of fun. And so I simply would say, okay, so we can just use the word rose without an accent. And, then it becomes rose versus rosé. And so that was where I usually made my point, and I got exactly what I wanted, which was maybe an umlaut or other, say, Mourvèdre and other wine varieties that have an accent mark. I think it's really important to do that. And, I think it's really, if you're selling wine, such as, what I was doing, you would say wine retailing establishment, off-premise, you should really know your subject matter. And that was my point. And I think that's really where you get your authorship. And that just doesn't go for wine retailing, on-premise, off-premise. It doesn't go for just, certain fields. It goes for everything. So when you're on your game, people know it. And when you're really knowledgeable, people know that. So being precise is also a really good trait. It can also arch or get towards being similar to perfectionism. But I think that's the point where you stop and say, at least I do, and say, I'm done. This is done. It's not going to be perfect because, again, perfection does not exist. And which also leads me to 100-point wines, which I really, really don't care for. And I think they're just a way of, I don't see them positively. And Robert Parker, yes, is the absolute offender of 100-point wines. And something that's just really come about in the past few years. I'm not sure why. Maybe I will give it someday. I'm not really going to say that I absolutely won't give a 100-point wine. So how does Robert Parker and his team view a flawless wine? I don't know, and they really don't say either. But, think of precision, think of how you do things. And I'd like to know how you're precise, and maybe you're a perfectionist, maybe you're a precisionist. Love to know your thoughts, love some discussion down here. So we're coming to the close of the year. This is 2014. We're almost towards December. It's been a fantastic year. I would say a tough yet rewarding year at the same point. And I'd love to know your thoughts on the end of the year closing, and so many more great wines and discussions to have. Thank you for watching me today. Stay tuned for more. Do me a favor, give a like to this video, share the video, and subscribe to my channel as well. So thank you again for watching. Stay tuned for more, and I really appreciate any comments and questions you have down below and your support as well. Thank you again for watching, and salud.